Okay, I'm at a Civil War outpost. It's called Fort Borman. Nice view up here, huh? Way up over Parkersburg. You can look over, see the bridges. Now, Fort Borman, the purpose of this little outpost, I didn't see action. There was no battles here. But behind me, you see there's a cannon. I'll zoom in a little. Right up at the top of that hill there was where the soldiers stayed, where they kept some gunpowder. They also had a noose up there, and they hung some people up there many years ago. Little placard up there that talks about that. Purpose of the post was to look down so you could see they could watch the railroad. Of course, I don't think the road was there, but I don't think the bridges were there just yet. Yeah, I know they weren't. In fact, that black train bridge you see over there behind the green one, that was built in the 1880s. That's Belpre over there. But they would monitor, they had to protect the train tracks and watch what was coming up and down the river. It's a great vantage point right here. A beautiful place to go. And it's nice to sit up here. A lot of people get their wedding pictures and prom pictures up here. It's a nice place. And as you see at night, you start seeing the lights glow. And it just gets prettier and prettier. So this is like a good time to come up and make a video. Everything starts with the Civil War. Excellent place just for that too. They put some, rebuilt fortifications. Those weren't original, obviously. To go with the theme. Everything that I talk about with Hugh's life, a lot of it goes back to the Civil War. What you see in the media and what you see on the news, it goes back further than what you can get the answers to. I think it's a knee-jerk reaction. Everybody just, if you hear something, your first thing is, let me Google that. Let me check that on the computer. The answer doesn't immediately come up, and all of a sudden you think the person's lying to you. But, test that sometime. Really, really think about what you're doing. Look back and see, for example, the Mazola oil cooking family. You Google that, you're not going to see Mazola oil cooking family, the people who built that company. You're not going to see that they were from Detroit, probably. Maybe you will, I haven't checked, but it's unlikely it's there. It'll be an interesting experiment when I get home. But, I have an old man, okay, and his relative had a big party when she was a certain age with the Mazola oil family. Lived right across from them, and they were famous families, okay. The Harris family and the Mazola oil family were together, living across from each other. They're all related to the royalty in England, okay. Now you Google that. When they had a big party, or the two girls came out, and they crowned them, and the whole community came out. People don't even know this stuff happens. I didn't know this stuff happens. But you Google something like that, you're gonna be left in the dark. And that's supposing that Google's honest. Supposing that the people who put the things on the computer are honest. How much confidence do we really have that everybody who contributes an article on the computer is really being honest? The Masons came out. The churches all came out. The Rotary clubs all came out. All just to escort these two little girls because they're related to royalty. So those are the kind of secrets, apparently, that the Masons actually keep. Okay? Now, I saw the home video. Okay? Hugh showed me the video of these two. Alright, so I know it's real. I saw what was going on. But if you Google it, you're not going to know what's going on. You're going to say, oh, that guy's lying. But he's got the home videos from the 1960s showing it. So what's more real? But the problem is we have so trained ourselves here in the last 15 years or so. Everything, let me just look it up. If it doesn't match immediately what somebody says, oh, that person's lying. Oh, they're a conspiracy. They're not telling the truth. And we've got to get away from that mentality. We have got to understand that life didn't start 15 years ago. And what is put on there, what is put on Google, what is put on the internet, by and large, is controlled. See, we've been programmed to think that communist China has all the propaganda, and they do use propaganda against their people. But do you not know, or do you not believe, that Obama literally made it legal for the United States government to use propaganda against the citizens of the United States? Now, if he legalized it, why would you think they're not using it? Why do you think he did that? So you Google information, you should always read it with a grain of salt. Everything is being manipulated and controlled. Strain through a filter for you to understand what they would like you to understand. What's better is to go out and really learn things on your own and quit letting everybody else think for you. I made a video yesterday about light, okay? And what I've always heard in the textbooks, my public school textbooks always told me light slowed down through a prism. That's what I've heard all my life, okay? You go through a million videos and they're going to tell you that. People that I thought were smart have told me that, okay? You explain to me the real science of it. Smart guy, okay? He built the assembly lines in Detroit, really knowledgeable in electronics, He was teaching college classes at 15 years old in his high school, okay? He knows how things work. Explained it to him. I said, you know what? You're right. But just because the public schools told me something, just because I Googled something, I didn't say, oh, Hugh, you're wrong about that. No. I realized what he was saying. Light's not slowing down through glass. It's being separated into different wavelengths, and the wavelengths aren't going any slower than the light that went in. Ah, makes sense. Okay. So I put a little mention of that in the notes for yesterday's video. So you have to always be willing to learn. But we live in a culture where nobody's willing to learn. They just hope somebody else learned for you. And that's where everybody's making mistakes about everything. You have to always be willing to tear down as far back as you need to go. If you need to tear back your philosophy all the way back down to the very beginning of what you've learned in life, so be it, if that's how far back you need to go. If you did something yesterday like I did that was incorrect, then you need to just go back and say, I was wrong there. However deep you need to go back, that's what you need to be willing to do. And everyone should be willing to do that. But we shouldn't think that other people have thought through reality properly for us, because they haven't. Not only do they not know, they weren't there, and they're manipulated by government, by media. Do you think that they put on... Now, you can verify some of this on Google, but you have to put the pieces together. For example, when Clara Harris was... Now, so you can Google this right now, and you'll actually see this. Clara Harris was Lincoln's guest at Ford's Theater, okay? But now you got to put this part together yourself. You have to have a little bit of brain power, okay? And the experiences of old men like you who can tell you things from a long time ago. Who are related to famous families, that helps. Who lived through a lot and who saw things you didn't get to see. All right? Now, Clara Harris, all right, was a German socialite at Ford's Theater, Lincoln's guest. And Henry Ford, who was born 4 years before Ford's Theater, married a Clara. Think that's a coincidence? Probably not. All right. Hugh's uncle, and he showed me the video. This is a real person. He's not making it up. His uncle was the caretaker at Ford's mansion there in Dearborn. I think it's Dearborn. I don't know if that's just a museum or if that's where the house was. But wherever it was up there in the Detroit area. Well, so these are real people. Okay, now the Harris family, that's the same family that became fabulously wealthy, inventing things and helped make America what it is today, starting with the steam tractor. Okay, it's the same relatives, the Harris steam thresher. Okay, they invented that and sold one to all the farmers, and right around World War I time. Okay, that's how they were able to go out and settle and really get some productivity in their farms. That was the Harris family did that. The family of the German socialite that Lincoln brought to Ford's Theater. Now you're not going to find that on the internet. I know, I've already looked. Okay. So you need to know the family and be willing to listen to people. If you just go Google it, you're like, oh, your brain's done. Okay? You're just hoping that somebody else was going to tell you this. Nah. Your thoughts you're gone. You've limited yourself to what you can know in reality. So you got to listen to old people, okay? That's really important. And listen to people who've written down what older people say, okay? Don't just go to Google and go, oh, it doesn't agree with what he said, he's wrong. I mean, he lived it, he's got videos, but he's wrong because I didn't find it on Google. That's the same family, the Harris family, that built Harris Banks, that built the Harris Poll. You're looking now at the, you're looking for presidential elections. You might look at the Harris Poll, among others. Or I guess they do presidential polls. I haven't checked which polls they do. But everybody's heard of the Harris Poll at least. It's Harris Banks. It's the same family. Same family, it goes back. It was Lincoln's guest at Ford's Theater. This is why right now you have Kamala Harris running for president, but her husband's name is Imhoff. She didn't take the Imhoff name. Why do you think that is? Because in this country especially, they take names of famous people because it helps promote them to the status that they're trying to attain. You see, if somebody thinks you're part of a family, they're going to support you. If they think you have certain amount of wealth, certain history about you, they're going to support you. But you have to understand, Kamala Harris is not that Harris family. Okay. Remember, like I said, German socialite Clara Harris was Lincoln's guest at Ford's Theater on the day of his assassination. German, okay? Look at Kamala Harris. Kamala Harris is what? Pakistani and Jamaican, right? Or Indian, rather. Not Pakistani. Indian and Jamaican. And where is the mom from? Actually, it's an island off the bottom eastern half of India, Sri Lanka, which is pretty close to an Asian culture, more than, or more Eastern Asian than it is Indian. Sort of a mix between the two. So she's got that Chinese influence. You think that might be important for somebody like Joe Biden, whose son just got $1.5 billion from China? You see what's going on there? Now keep in mind that right there, Kamala Harris's dad wrote a book. You can read the book too. You can Google that book. It really does exist. And it says right there in his own book that I read it. Okay, I showed you the book online the other day. Okay. It says right there that he's the family of slave owners. They're the slave traders. They're not the descendants of slaves. They're the slave traders. They're the people who brought the slaves over. But they've got half the country believing right now that they Or, oh, listen to Kamala Harris. Oh, I'm brown skinned. My mom was brown skinned. My dad was brown. What is she trying to imply? She's not specifically saying I'm black, but everybody around her is, and you're believing it. And that's why the day before that she was asked to be vice president, you had the wrestler from the WWE by the same name, Kamala Harris, who was black, really was black, who died coincidentally, right? Just a coincidence that he died 24 hours before Kamala Harris was asked to be vice president. And then, here's proof. You can't go to Google, because try to Google that story now, and guess what? It ain't there. The wrestler that died. Oh, good luck Googling that. It's a good thing we clipped it when it was out. Hugh clipped it. A few other people clipped it. We got it, but there's your CIA manipulation right there. You're not going to find it now because your vice presidential candidate went on the internet or told the media, get rid of that story. But it's too late. They already did the brainwashing, okay, for a lot of people. They got that media influence out there. Now everybody thinks that Kamala Harris is black. And you see, in this country, they kill people all the time for fame, to make a point, to send a message. That's how you get sensationalism. I have pointed out movies right here in Parkersburg from the past where they've killed people right here in this town just to sensationalize a movie from Hollywood. It came out at the same time, all the way back in the 60s. If they do it here, they do it in your town, they do it all over the place. Because it adds sensationalism and it gets gets the name out in the media for free. Or sometimes they just, as a mob, want to send a message to somebody like you. That's less pixelated like that. It's pretty, but I feel you don't get much detail, but if you expand it, you lose detail. It's really pretty up here, though, isn't it? All this goes back to the Civil War. Like I tell you, everything I say goes back to the Civil War. Everything Hugh tells me, it goes back to the Civil War. Kamala Harris is running right now. Goes all the way back to the Civil War. Everything does. So I'm sitting here at a Civil War campsite here, outpost, to tell you this story. It always goes back to the Civil War. Because the battles we're fighting with Black Lives Matter, that's a continuation of the Civil War. It didn't stop. You have the homosexual agenda, and right behind it, following right in its footsteps, is always the black agenda. That's not a racist statement. That's just telling you the politics of what they're doing. You understand? You understand? I'm not saying that the people who are fooled by their agenda are all evil. I'm telling you that they have a political agenda so that they can progress. But the people in charge, what do? They kill people. And it all goes back to the Civil War. Why does the black mafia, if you want to use that word, not related to the Italian mafia, but the people who killed for sensationalism in the black culture today, who start things like Black Lives Matter and riots, why do they always seem to be right there on the heels of the sodomy agenda? Well, it goes back to the Civil War. When they caught Jefferson Davis, how did they catch him? Oh, he was wearing a dress. You see, the slaves had to endure quite a bit. And because of where I'm at and the people around me, I can't go into too much detail on that. But use your imagination. Slaves were more than just slaves, if you catch my drift. You understand that? So when the soldiers caught Jefferson Davis, my guess is they probably put him in a dress. It was probably more than he was trying to get away, because they were making a point for posterity. That's just me saying that. You're not going to Google that, okay? That is not going to show up on Google. Look how pretty DuPont is over there. The one that poisoned our water. They made a movie about it with Mark Ruffalo. But that looks like another city over there. That's just one plant. DuPont. And DuPont has a part in all this too. Okay, DuPont has a big part in Hugh's story too. The Frenchies, that helped create the WWE, was WWF at the same time when they stole both their WWF trademark from the World Wildlife Fund and the Bottom Line trademark that Hugh invented, that was the name of his band. They stole that through DuPont. DuPont helped that happen. Okay? Oh, hey, you're on there right now. Pretty view up here. So all this stuff, it goes back to the Civil War. Hugh, I didn't see how long you were on there, but telling him I need to go back to the Civil War, and to get this, you can't go to Google. Google's not the answer to everything. I'm saying you have to listen to old men. This is how you find the truth. The truth is not all in just, oh, well, somebody said something, I put in a search word, I didn't find it on the first 10 pages or whatever. Most people don't even go past the first page. So therefore, the person telling me this is lying. But that's virtually everyone's mentality. And this is why nobody knows anything. This is why people can't connect real simple dots. Forget about the real crazy conspiracies. Nothing Hugh has to say is a conspiracy. He lived through it, and he shows you the videos, puts the connections out there for you, and tells you who he's related to. So how's that a conspiracy? It's not a conspiracy if you know the people personally, and you know what they did, and you were there when most of it happened. How's that a conspiracy? It's insane the way people think. And the reason they think that is because, they Googled it. Nothing goes back older than 15 years in this country. Or however, whenever Google started. I don't know the exact year it started. 20, 25, I don't know. Whatever it started. Nothing goes past, nothing's older than that. And we have complete confidence that whoever put the stories are completely honest, did all their research. But we never listened to the people that were there, or knew stuff, or related to the people. Now, they're all lying, but I Googled it, and I have complete confidence in the people who put the story on the internet. Baloney. It's complete garbage the way people think. Just the other day, I was on Periscope, and a young lady, she was saying that Hugh, the guy right here in my comments, right here, I'm talking about, said, "Oh, is that your imaginary friend? You keep talking about him all the time." Turns out this same girl didn't even know who Jefferson Davis was, and she's telling me that I'm wrong, because probably right as I said something about Hugh, she Googled it, didn't see exactly what I said, word for word on there, and the CIA manipulated information, and so therefore I'm making it all up. You see, that's how dumb people are. Not even intelligent enough to go look and see, even though I gave her the link, to even just go see that he's even a real person. Immediately, I Googled a term, everything you say is wrong, because it didn't spell out exactly what you said. Nobody can put anything together for themselves. They think everything is supposed to be handed to them on a silver platter. They have to do no work. And this, my friends, is why so many YouTube channels, so many broadcasts and podcasts have so many tens of thousands of subscribers, because they say things that you don't really have to research very well. If you keep it general, if you keep it simple, and if you keep it really dumb, people will follow you. And usually, if you just say the things that are in the search terms, people can Google it, and guess what? It's going to agree with what that person said. And so, some of the dumbest people out there have 15,000 subscribers. 50, 100, 500,000 subscribers. Millions of subscribers. And the dumber and dumber the program, the more and more subscribers you get. Now, you can say, well, the reason that I don't have any subscribers hardly is because I'm not as dynamic, or or it's my personality. No, I think it's because I'm given real truth, and you have to actually take the time to learn it. And if you Google search it, you're not going to find it immediately. Now, I'm not against Google. There are some real things out there on the internet. There is some real history. In fact, I have 18, 19 pages of website links that back up a lot of the things that I say in my book that's coming out. Okay? Not the one I already did. One that's coming out. On top of the books. That's just website links. I'm not against the internet. But you need to know how to use it and how to filter through it. And you can't do that just by searching one term and then giving up when it doesn't automatically just say every last thing that you thought was true. It's unbelievable the way people think. It's unbelievable how lazy, mentally lazy everyone is. It's astonishing, really. This is why we live in a land of everybody that's just stupid. It's part of the reason. And the drugs. The drugs have more to do with it than anything. But everybody you talk to doesn't have the patience or the mentality or the desire to know real truth. And plus, once you start making money, you get the subscribers in, you start making money, all of a sudden the truth doesn't matter as much. Because you know if you say real truth, you're going to offend a lot of people. Because real truth offends just about everybody. You know, that's the crazy thing about real truth. Now, the lies, they don't offend nearly as many people. Or you can pick one side or the other and you can offend the other side. Okay? So if you're just promoting one side, you might have half of the country behind you. Well, that's pretty big number of people who'll probably follow you, right? You can pick the other side. But real truth condemns both sides. Who's going to listen to that? Almost nobody. Because the truth itself doesn't matter to them. The ratings, the money matters. The popularity, the ego boost they get from it, that matters. Now, everything that I'm going to tell you, everything that Hugh tells me that I'm going to convey to you, you'll have to do your own research, folks. Oh, I'm going to lay out as much of it as I can for you. But don't go straight to your computer, Google the first thing, and expect Hugh's entire story exactly as I write it out to be there for you. It's not going to happen. When I put his videos on YouTube, immediately the same pedophiles that killed all those kids immediately start putting up links on my YouTube channel. Why do you think that is? It's verifying everything that he says. Those are the same people. Now, I put up a notice, and they haven't been doing it lately. I said this verifies everything Hugh says about him. And now the last couple times they haven't put him up again. But they probably will. You know, they hack his computer every single day. They even took an entire lock program, which you put your passwords in, you know. They took an entire program off his computer with all his passwords, you know. Most people don't have that kind of computer knowledge, so that tells you about what kind of people, you know, that these are. And this exactly verifies everything Hugh says. Well, they're the pedophiles running your sex crimes division of the FBI right now. You know, Michael and Gina Osborne. You know, those are the people that were torturing kids. They're the people that killed Kennedy. So yeah, they're going to follow everything he says, try to discredit what I say. So I get 17 links to porn sites on my YouTube that, you know, within minutes of putting it up. Okay. But half of America, 99.9999% of America is too stupid to go, whoa, hold on, wait a minute. That goes really well with what he just said. I really need to listen to this. What is going on here? You know. Why are they doing this? And you know, people are so stupid. They'll blame Hugh. They'll say it's his fault. You know, it's amazing to me that you blame the victim. Okay, how unconscionable is that to blame the victim for the crime? There's a whole lot of you people that just your own stupidity should condemn you to 100 years in prison. You know, stupid itself was a criminal offense. Most of you'd be behind bars for a long time. But because your stupidity, your laziness, your intellectual laziness, your inability to care, your greed for money, your greed and desire just to make money over everything else, makes you blame the victim. How unconscionable is it to say, well, somebody's wife was killed, you did it. You don't have any proof of that. But he lays out massive amounts of proof, but you're too stupid, too lazy to look into the proof. And then you go, because of your laziness and your stupidity, you go ahead and blame the victim and say, oh, he did it. That's why I wish that kind of stupidity was a crime. You understand? It's unbelievable the way people think. So I don't care if I have 800 subscribers or 10. I'm just going to tell the truth. If you're too stupid to get it, you're too stupid to get it. I don't care. You know. I write books, and I don't care if 10 people buy them or 1,000,000 people buy them. I don't care. You know, it does not matter to me one iota. Because it's true. And truth by its very nature is going to offend virtually everyone. I've already figured out how I could have made a ton of money on Kodak. But Hugh stopped me. Because I wasn't thinking. He's like, no, don't invest in Kodak because that's the pedophile family. I'm like, oh yeah, you're right, duh. But I could have bought options on Kodak. The minute the president talked to him, and the next day it went from $2 a share up to $53 a share. Imagine if you'd have bought $5,000 in options that day. You'd be freaking rolling in dough. I could have paid off every debt I had, the next day, sold it the next day when it's at $53 a share. But I didn't do that because that helps the very pedophiles. That helps the criminals. I don't want to be that way, so I don't care if truth offends everyone, It doesn't matter if I make money or if I stay broke, I don't care. I've always eaten, I've always had a roof over my head. I'll survive. And if they kill me, so what? At least I lived for something, right? At least I contributed something correct to the world. And there's more power in that than in all the vanity, all the emptiness, all the nonsense, all the lies of the entire world. There's more power in that. It might be a thimble of truth and it might smolder for years, but eventually, I don't care if it's 100 years from now, it'll become a raging fire. Might be 500 years from now, I don't know. But I just happen to believe still in ultimate justice. I believe in ultimate truth, ultimate justice. And I think the truth is going to get out. Now here's the question, is it going to get out because you're going to make a sacrifice? Are you going to shun popularity? Are you going to make a sacrifice of your time and your energy? Believe me, I'm not asking for money here. I'm not a televangelist, okay? No, I don't want your money. I mean sacrifice your time to learn truth, to verify things, to listen to the stories, to watch all the videos that you have to do, to know what's really influencing the world around you. I already know the answer. Almost all of you aren't going to, no matter what I say, no matter how hard I plead. This is why I'm not upset about it. What's the point? Why should I get upset about, what I can't control what you do? I'm just going to live my life and be happy, Be happy where I am. And if you can't handle that, if you can't do what needs to be done to learn truth and reality, you're just going to contribute. I like the metaphor in the Bible. It's just a really powerful metaphor. But I love it. The stone from the mountain, it comes down and it crumbles and it crushes the whole earth. That's truth. Truth is going to crush you. So you're either going to be crushed by it or it's going to crush you. And that's reality. But most of you'll use the Bible itself and all that just to stay snug in your lies. You'll stay just making the money. Well, there's enough people in this country. You can talk about religion mixed in with your fake politics, mixed in with your CIA adopted lies, co-opted lies. Well, Hugh's standing right there in the middle, as a victim of these forces that you're promoting. While you're out there promoting Bill Gates, saying that he's, you know, and I don't mean promoting Bill Gates positively. You're out there promoting that Bill Gates is, you know, trying to kill you with vaccines, and he's used relative, and he's like, you know, listen, no. You know, I've seen this guy before. I know where he got his money. He's a good guy. You know, no, he's not trying to kill you. But you go buy the Alex Jones lies. You go buy the baloney. You throw in a few words about religion. Oh, and you got thousands of subscribers. Yeah, you're a fraud, is what you are. You'll make money, and I won't. You know, that's not jealousy talking. Some of you are going to misinterpret. You're going to say, oh, well, it's because you're really jealous. That's why you're saying this. You're really mad that the other people are successful and you're not. No, no, because if I have to promote a lie to get to where you are, I'm not going to do it. I'm not interested in your lie. Not interested in a partial lie. I want the truth. I want the real truth to be told. You know? So, truth is more important than anything else, but it takes work. It's not a Google search. It's not a term. It's not a laissez-faire activity. Truth is hands-on. Truth is active. Truth is something you have to go get. It's not going to fall in your lap. Quit being so lazy. Thanks for watching.